What's up, guys? We're back for another NFL video. Today, we're going to be doing a 12-man mock draft once again, full PPR league. I'm going to be drafting at the 4 spot. Trav is going to be drafting at the 9 spot, and we're going to see who can select the better team. So go down in the comments and let us know at the end of the video whose team was better. Let us know.
As always, we have a little CPUs helping us out here, a little AIs, but we might do some live mock drafts with some of our fans. So if you want to be in a mock draft, put it down in the comments. We'll get in touch with you. We do some mocks together. But let's get this thing started.
Let's do it.
We're going to walk you through every pick. You know, we got the CPU going here. Kelsey going early.
Wow. Yeah,
Kelsey
that kind
going
of,
early.
I love how that played out there for me because I get my selection. I basically have a top 3 pick here in my eyes. So obviously I'm going to be going a top 3 guy. And I'm going to be selecting Christian McCaffrey at the 4 here. I mean, there's really no, I feel like I don't need to explain too much there.
It was either probably him or Chase, and you can't really go wrong either way you draft there. So here at the 9 spot.
Oh, Saquon went. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's kind of who I had my eye set on, which sucks. But, I mean, I'll be okay with Tyreek Hill. I'll be okay with Tyreek Hill, and hopefully one of these running backs like a Nick Chubb.
Oh, of course, right when you said it, he goes
2 picks in front. But
wow.
So far the draft going early. Mahomes
the first
in the first round.
Yeah.
So here I don't understand what Team 12's doing. If you like early QB, but pretty standard first round so far.
Yeah, pretty standard. Other than Kelsey sliding up a lot and
Yeah.
Patty Mahomes sliding in the first round, that was interesting for me.
Here I am probably going to take a running back. I do like Amon-Ra St. Brown here at the spot, but I took Tyreek Hill, so I want to. It's going to be quite a bit before it gets back to me. And some of the running backs are going to be gone, so I'm looking at like a Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs here. And with Jonathan Taylor's holding out situation, I don't know if I want that. And I know people are saying Josh Jacobs' regression year is coming.
Yeah.
And I do agree that a regression year is coming, but he finishes the running back 1 last year?
Yeah.
I'm looking just for a little regression. Maybe he goes down to the RB5. Currently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs are drafted off the board so far, so I'm drafting him at the RB6, which I think he could finish at. So
Yeah,
I'm
I think that's
Josh
fair.
Jacobs right there.
I like it. I wish you went Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I do understand that if you're not getting a running back at this pick, it's going to be a while, and who knows who's going to be on the board here. Oh, I love this turn here. I'm looking at a couple guys. I like Tony Pollard a lot. I also really love Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Those are the 2 guys that I'm going to be deciding between. I think Tony Pollard had an absolute monster year PPR-wise last year, and he was sharing the backfield. So who knows what the ceiling is going to be for Tony Pollard going into this next year now that Zeke is not there anymore. But also Garrett Wilson just got a stud quarterback.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year, finished with 1,100 yards.
Oh, I'm going to go Garrett Wilson just because I already have a running back. So let's go Garrett Wilson here.
Hopefully he comes on the turn.
That would be awesome if he does.
He does.
And he does. I get both of my guys that I was looking at. This draft is going swimming. I don't even think I really need to explain it. I was deciding between Garrett and Tony before, and we get both of them. Huge.
Yeah, you're killing the draft right now, and I am falling a little bit behind. Jameer Gibbs goes. I was a little high on him.
I see someone there that I like for you, though.
There's a couple guys here that I wouldn't mind, but I am going to take Devontae Smith.
Okay. That's not who I thought you were going to go with there. I thought you were actually going to go Najee Harris just because of he was going in the first round last year, every single draft. So I thought I like him this year. If you're going to be able to get him at the end of the 3rd, beginning of the 4th round, I mean, to me that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I was looking at Najee, and I like Smith a little bit more. Just I feel like there's more production in that offense with Philly, and I know there's a lot of mouths to feed, but Devontae Smith is still like he was a really good receiver last year, so I don't mind taking him there.
Yeah, and I actually love the running backs that made it back around.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon, and Aaron Jones, the 3 that I'm really thinking between. And I really like that Samaje's gone. I know that he's
good.
Kind of like, his suspension or whatever happened this offseason, I'm willing to take that risk, especially since I have Josh Jacobs. So I'm going to go Joe Mixon.
I love the pick. I love the pick there. I have my eye on someone that. No, it goes right before me.
Amari Cooper, no receiver 1. I do like the pick there from Team 5. Going kind of like a hero RB, semi-hero RB strategy. You're looking good here. You kind of have a lot of options here.
I do have options.
2 running backs settled.
I
That
do have
allows
options.
you kind of to open up the draft. Maybe take a receiver, even go quarterback or tight end if you really need to. But seeing that quarterbacks and tight ends on teams 1, 2, and 3 are already taken, you might be able to wait for the turd and take your running back or receiver of choice.
I think that's what I was thinking. I also am not very. I don't want to take Justin Fields or Justin Herbert, especially not in the 4th round right here. But like you had said, maybe either one of those guys makes it back around. Maybe I'll take one of those guys there. I also don't want to take. I made the mistake of taking a 4th round tight end last year, and I don't think I want to make that mistake again. So I think I'm going to stay away from T.J. Hawkinson and wait a couple more rounds for the tight end.
Yeah.
But that puts me in a little bit of a predicament because I'm looking down under Justin Herbert here, and I'm not really loving the receivers that I'm seeing or the running backs that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is interesting. Miles Sanders is interesting.
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce is interesting as well. Each of those guys has flaws to their, picking them. That's why they're going in the 4th or 5th round. But each of them has pretty high upside. They're all the receiver 1 for DeAndre Hopkins, and Dameon Pierce and Miles Sanders both are the RB1 in their respective teams.
Yeah, this is tough. I'm also potentially looking at Terry McLaurin.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Oh, you know what? I don't love the guys that I have here at my disposal, so I'm going to shoot and take the quarterback that I want because Team 1 is going to have 2 selections there. He already has a tight end, no quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's going to definitely use one of those picks to take a quarterback. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a very valuable quarterback in my eyes, Justin Herbert. Let's see if I'm right here. Let's see if he goes quarterback on here. He doesn't. Wow.
Maybe he would have went quarterback if Herbert was on the board.
Maybe he would have, but it's right back around to me, and that's
Some
okay.
of the guys that we were talking about are still there. DeAndre Hopkins, Miles Sanders, and Dameon Pierce just went off the board, but you still have 2 of the 3 guys we were talking about.
That is true. So it definitely was not a horrible idea. I only have 1 receiver right now, but I think I'm going to wait on receiver. I think I'm going to go Miles Sanders here because I think Miles Sanders is due for a breakout year. He had a pretty good year last year. I don't think he led the league in rushing yards, but he was definitely top 5 in rushing yards last year. He was up there, and he was in a 3-back committee over there on Philadelphia. So now that he's got the backfield to himself, it's a decent O-line. Mm-hmm. You got Bryce Young back there. I think that there's a lot of fire under the belts of this Carolina team. So I'm going to take Miles Sanders here.
Yeah, I don't mind the pick at all. I do not. And Justin Fields goes right in front of me.
Is that who you were looking at?
That's who I was looking at here. I mean,
there's another QB, though, that I love.
There is Trevor Lawrence still on the board, but I really had my eyes set on Fields. I love the rushing upside from a quarterback. It just feels like Team 8 is just in my head right now. Taking Barkley away from me, taking Gibbs away from me, and Fields. Every time we're going and they're picking in front of me, they're just taking my guys. But I do have another selection here, and I think I'm going to now wait on quarterback, hoping Trevor Lawrence gets to me because I don't think this running back will be there if I do wait on him. So I'm going to go take Alexander Madison.
I like it. Oh, and of course T-Law goes right after.
Yeah, and that's just the bullet that we're going to have to bite there. I wish I didn't have to, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you're doing a much different strategy than what you did in the last draft because I remember you went tight end and quarterback very, very early when we did this last week. If you haven't seen that last week's draft, go check it out. Go watch the other video.
Yeah, 100%.
Very different.
Week, people, might come at me for taking the quarterback and tight end early. And early, I took him 4th and 5th round, so not super, super early, but value-wise, there really wasn't much there for me in the last draft, where this draft, it's like Josh Jacobs, Devontae Smith, and Joe Mixon kind of falling down a little bit. I'm willing to wait on the quarterback and tight end. I'm willing to wait. I do think that I need to take one within the next couple of rounds here. Mm-hmm. You can't just not get both of them, but I think now is not the time. So I'm going to go receiver, I believe. I don't like – I mean, Swift is all right, but I'm not sold with Rashad Penny and all them in that offense. So I think I'm going to go a player who has receiver one. He's a receiver one on his team. I think he has wide receiver 2 upside. He did decent in some games last year. He has a new quarterback, and that's Michael Pittman.
I like it. I like it there. I'm not opposed to Michael Pittman at all. I think it really just comes down to the play of Anthony Richardson this year and how well he could do. 100%. It's going to be interesting to see. A couple of guys that I was looking at go. I was hoping James Conner could make it back around to me. That did not happen, unfortunately. Now I'm looking at, I only have one receiver here. I don't necessarily need to go receiver, but I'm definitely going to be taking a look here. And I'm not the biggest fan of what I'm seeing. I don't think I want to go Brandon Ayuk. I don't think I want to go Marquise Brown just because of the whole Kyler Murray injury. I don't know when he's going to be back, so that kind of scares me a little bit. Mike Williams could be interesting. I love my Seahawks. I stay away from Seahawks receivers, though. Mm-hmm. I can't take a Seahawks receiver. So that brings me down to Christian Kirk. And that's the guy who I think I'm going to go with. To me, it's between Brandon Ayuk and Christian Kirk. I think both these guys have very similar upsides. They both have other receivers in that room, i.e. Calvin Ridley and Deebo Samuel, who are going to take the ball away from them a lot. The other thing that's kind of taking me away from Brandon Ayuk is that I already have Christian McCaffrey on my squad. So, I mean, I know it's a running back and a receiver, so completely different positions. So I don't know how much that'll come into play.
It does limit your ceiling a little bit, points-wise.
It does. I think I'm going to go Christian Kirk, the slot god. I think he's going to do well in this PPR format again this year.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all, especially since he's in the slot. People are hyping up Calvin Ridley, but he does play on the outside. Christian Kirk is probably going to get more looks just because he plays closer to the quarterback in the slot, so I don't mind the pick at all. George Pickens going at Team 3. I don't mind that. And I don't mind Mike Williams falling all the way to the 7th round either.
I don't. I think that those are pretty standard. I hope that's what's happening in your guys' drafts because I'm not high on either of those two guys there. But let's see. Brandon Ayuk is still there. So if I wanted to go ahead and pull the trigger on Brandon Ayuk, I totally could. But I don't know if I could pass that up there. I don't think I could pass that up.
What are you looking at?
You know what? I'm going to be hypocritical here. I just said that I don't take Seattle receivers, but one Seattle receiver that I think has tremendous upside, I think he's going to finish as the #1 fantasy receiver on the Seahawks this year, Jackson Smith-Njigba.
I don't mind it at all.
I think I'm going to have to.
He had a very good preseason, so I don't mind it at all.
And that's who I'm going to select is Jackson Smith-Njigba right there.
Here, for me, I can tackle quarterback, but I feel like it's just so early. I can tackle tight end, but it's early as well. I feel like I'm not a big fan of Freiermuth. I feel like I can go around and get another guy at my later pick. So I think there's a receiver that I really like, and that's Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
And Jordan Addison. I don't mind Jordan Addison. Adam Thielen, we've seen him. I think he has the record for most consecutive 100-yard games.
He does.
As the receiver, too. Now, I think that was with Diggs in the offense. But if Jordan Addison can get into that receiver 2 spot, he's going to be very good. But I've been hearing a lot of talk about KJ Osborne in camp, and I think KJ Osborne right now, I think he kind of has the receiver 2 spot to himself, which steers me away from Jordan Addison, which is why I'm probably going to go Deontay Johnson.
That's who I would have gone there if I was in your shoes, so I love the pick. I think Deontay Johnson had probably the unluckiest fantasy season out of any player last year. Yeah. I mean, he was getting the targets, he was getting the receptions, he was getting the yards every game. He just had 0 touchdowns in the whole season last year. 0. So if he could just put a couple touchdowns on the board, I think that'll be helping you quite a bit.
Yeah, and a QB and tight end, both the two that I was going to pick at that spot, did fall to me. I do see Jordan Addison is still on the board.
Yeah.
But now I do have 4 receivers, so I kind of don't want to take one there because I feel like they would just be sitting on the bench. So value-wise, I don't think that would be right for the team. So I'm either looking at Tua, Njoku, or Freiermuth.
Let's take a look.
I do think that Freiermuth and Njoku, like if we do the tight end tiers, I feel like there's so many in that. Like this is probably like tier 4 of tight ends. Like Freiermuth, Njoku, Schultz, Kmet, Kincaid, Higbee even. I feel like they're all kind of in that tier where I feel like quarterback right after Tua, it kind of takes
drops
another
off.
tier off. So I think I'm going to take Tua there.
I like the pick.
He
That was
does
smart.
get injured a decent amount, but that's okay because I think we can take another quarterback later in the draft that maybe has less injury concerns. But Tua last year was a very good fantasy quarterback when he was on the field. Keyword, when he was on the field.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the guys here. I still need a tight end. I still need a tight end here. And I'm looking up at the teams. Team 1 and Team 3 both took very, very early tight ends. The number 1 tight end in Travis Kelce, and the number 2 tight end in Mark Andrews. So only one tight end is going to go off the board within that time. And I'm totally fine with either Pat Freiermuth or David Njoku. So I'm going to take my pick at whatever else I'm looking at here. So I see Jordan Addison. I also like Jordan Addison. I don't like Treylon Burks just because of the quarterback situation in Tennessee. I know Ryan Tannehill has had some success in the past, but I don't necessarily trust it. Yeah, I'm looking down. I'm scrolling way too far to be comfortable reaching. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take Jordan Addison here.
Yeah, I love the pick. Njoku's off the board, but like you said, you got your pick with Njoku and Freiermuth, and now Freiermuth fell to you. So
we'll take Freiermuth right here as well.
Pretty obvious pick, and you go. And now they started the quarterback round, so now that makes me very excited that I took a quarterback early.
Very smart.
Which is good. Now I do see that both Team 10, Team 11, and Team 12 have quarterbacks, and I think every team has a quarterback now in the draft. So don't want to do that. I was looking at maybe doubling up at the quarterback at the 8 and 9 spot, taking Tua and then taking another maybe decent, highly valued guy. And I had 2 players in mind. That was Anthony Richardson and Kirk Cousins, both off the board. So that's gonna make me pivot there. I'm not taking Geno Smith. Or
really?
Like that.
No Geno? No Geno love here?
I do like Geno. He did have a really good fantasy season last year. I just think maybe it's going to be hard for him to, take that up. But I'm going to take a guy that arguably could be the number 1 player and the number 1 offensive weapon in his offense. If you really think about it and you really look on paper, this guy might be the best offensive weapon in the offense. And he's at the tight end position. And that is Dalton Schultz.
Wow. A little reach on there, but honestly, I don't mind it at all. Yeah. You are so right. There's no receivers over there in Houston, and
I'm not a big fan of Dameon Pierce or Devin Singletary. So you could even look at running back wise. Like I don't trust Robert Woods, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell, who are the top 3 receivers, to outdo Schultz. Which Schultz finished as a top 7 tight end last year in Dallas, and I get Dallas' offense is way better than Houston, but he just got a complete, in my eyes, boost of production.
I completely agree, but Trav, that brings me to the question: where are you going to go here with your next pick?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting here. I now have 3 or 4 receivers and 3 running backs, so I kind of have the option to take really whoever I want.
Yeah,
and that is going to be has the opportunity to be the RB1, Khalil Herbert.
Okay, of the Bears. I mean, they love running the ball.
I do have a little bit of safer running backs in Jacobs, Mixon, and Madison. We already know that they're going to be the workhorse backs in their offense, so I don't mind taking a shot on a couple running backs down here later in the draft that, maybe have some risk involved, but also can finish as a top 15, top 20 running back, and you're drafting them down here as the RB40.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think you got excellent value there for a round 10 running back.
Yeah.
Speaking of value, though, I have 4 receivers on my squad already, so I can kind of take a gamble here, and I am not using that word lightly. I'm taking a real gamble on this guy.
Jameson Williams.
I did it in the last draft we did, but I'm also going to do it in this one. I'm drafting a lot of Jameson Williams this year. I think that once he gets back from the injury, the suspension, that he will be an excellent. Wow, kickers are going in round 11. Also, 2 guys that I was going to be potentially targeting in this next turn here, Jerick McKinnon and Geno Smith, both went, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at who is left here in the running backs and receivers. More so running backs. I have 5 receivers already, 3 running backs. And I don't like any of the running backs that are here, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the top defense just because I can. I can afford it here. I'm just going to take the 49ers defense.
Yeah, I mean, defense is definitely this 11th round and later is kind of where you want to see them. I'm more of a defense in the later rounds, kind of just playing the defense by committee role. But here, is interesting. Here's where I think I'm going to take a safer, quarterback, and maybe he's risky, but I feel like the offense is going to help him out a little bit. Or I go safer tight end, and they're both ranked kind of around the same spot. But looking at team 12, no tight ends on the roster.
Wow.
So I'm going to go tight end first. I said it in the last draft. I'm drafting a lot of Greg Dulcich this year. I do like that Denver defense or Denver offense, and he didn't even go tight end again. So I guess maybe it didn't matter, or maybe he had
maybe
Greg
he wanted
Dulcich
Greg
on his mind. But that I do get the quarterback that I want as well, and it's kind of funny because it's a pairing about talking that Denver offense, and that's Russell Wilson. Has a little bit of rushing upside. He is an improviser at the quarterback position. Sean Payton is going to help it out, and Sean Payton is Drew Brees. 5,000 yards before in his offense.
Yeah.
Not comparing Drew Brees and Russell Wilson together, but I think Russell, if this offense is like Sean Payton offenses in the past, he can be very good.
Yeah, I'm looking over here at my 12th round pick. I already have my defense. I already have a very solid quarterback. I think I might look to take a backup QB with one of my next picks.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 3 running backs, so I definitely want to get one more running back on my squad here. And I think I might go Tyler Algier. I'm not going to hit it yet.
Okay.
I'm not going to hit it yet.
I don't mind it at all.
I think I will, just because he had a great year last year. I think that obviously, Bijan is going to be getting the workload for sure. I mean, they have him listed as the 3rd guy on the depth chart, but that's just not what's going to happen. I'm going to go Algier just in case, that rookie running back has an injury. That'll help me out there. That'll be a great starter for me if he goes down. But we're back here. We're back here at picking again on round 13. Let's see. I'm not going to go kicker just yet. I'm not a big, I like drafting my defenses early. I don't like drafting my kickers early. I'm just going to go ahead and take a backup QB here. And I think I'm going to take another shot and go Bryce Young. I
don't mind it at all. He does have the rushing upside, so that's a solid pick there. Look, I just want to really quick, maybe for about 10 seconds, look at the teams. And so far, if I had to pick my favorite team, it would be you.
Really?
I think you've had it really killed it. I think me at the 9 spot. I think we've talked about this earlier. Maybe not. Maybe we have on the channel. Maybe not. But I do think the 9 spot, that 10 spot is kind of one of the worst spots this year in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I like the 4 spot.
Yeah,
I think
we were talking about that.
You can pick one of the 4 guys, whether that's Jefferson, Eckler, in my top 4, McCaffrey or Chase.
Mm-hmm.
You got one of the 4, and then that high 2nd round pick is huge. And Pollard falling to the 3rd was huge for you as well.
Yeah.
But now looking here, I just wanted to go over that really quick.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. I think you've been killing it. I honestly would take your team over mine currently right now.
I think you just got screwed at that first. I think that 2-3 turn for you. You kind of got screwed with who was left at your disposal.
Yeah, I mean, the 2-3 turn, yeah, it definitely hurt. I wanted Gibbs, went right in front of me. I wanted Fields, went right in front of me. So I wanted Ingram, went right in front of me. It kind of it's been that kind of draft for me. Even like a guy like Calvin Ridley going right in front of me. I wasn't mad about the Joe Mixon pick.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad about the Josh Jacobs pick either.
No.
Nick Chubb is kind of who I wanted. He didn't fall, but Jacobs is not a bad second. I was really disappointed that I couldn't grab like a Saquon Barkley or somebody like that, and I had to settle for Tyreek Hill. And settling for Tyreek Hill, is not bad.
No, not at all. And might I say, I like the team because you have a bunch of guys who are explosive fantasy point producers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Tyreek Hill that can give you 50 one week. You got Josh Jacobs that's capable of doing that. You saw Joe Mixon even do that with 55 one week last year. So your team is definitely capable of putting up numbers when you need to.
Here I'm gonna go a defense that I feel like finishes the top 10 every year. Mm-hmm. They've had seasons where they finish averaging over the season above double-digit points. That's the New England Patriots.
Love it.
I think just right there, that's a solid pick. I didn't want Team 10 to take my defense.
Yeah.
Because I had my eyes set on another guy, which I didn't think that they were going to take at the turn. So that allows me to go take him. I in the last draft, I did draft Tank Bigsby. So I might take a little Tank Bigsby here. Jalen Hyatt is there. You were talking high on him. You know,
Yeah.
I've heard good things out of camp. You're really high on him more than I am, but I think I'm just going to go Tank Bigsby here and just, you know, kind of solidify the running back's position because there's a little bit of question marks with Joe Mixon and his suspension. So just having a decent amount of running backs back there, Tank Bigsby, Khalil Herbert, and Alexander Madison, just in case something happens with the Mixon situation, I feel like is the best course of option.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great option for you there. I'm taking a look, trying to game plan a little bit. I know I said I was going to take a kicker last, but I'm looking over at Team 1 and Team 2. Neither of them have kickers yet. So 100% they are both going to be taking kickers before I get to my next turn, which means, and they don't have defenses either, which means they won't be taking any of those receivers or running back positions. They physically have to draft defenses and kickers here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the kicker that my personal favorite kicker. If I got to pick anyone, I'd be taking this guy, the Seahawks kicker, Jason Myers. Finished, I think, third last year fantasy points wise. So I'm going to get my guy there.
I don't mind it. Not to hate on the Seahawks offense, but I feel like they're one of those offenses that will get you within within 40 yards of the end zone.
Yeah.
But maybe sometimes struggles to punch it. And I know Kenneth Walker last year struggled in the red zone.
Yeah, he did.
Which is why they drafted Charbonnet.
Charbonnet, baby.
But Myers may be kicking a lot of field goals, and it doesn't matter. All you want for a kicker is for the offensive drive to end in a kick. That's the goal. Whether it's a touchdown kick or a field goal kick, it really doesn't matter. You're going to get points either way. You just want the drive to end in a kick.
Yeah, so I love Jason Myers regardless of him being on the Seahawks. I think that, yeah, like you said, you know, I know the Seahawks are not a maybe they will finish as a top 10 team. We'll see, but I know right now we're not a top 10 type of team.
Yeah,
we're one of those teams that's right in that perfect sweet spot for the kickers to thrive, really. But I think you said his name. I don't think I can stay away from him any longer. I'm just going to take Jalen Hyatt here in the last round. It doesn't really matter. If my tight end goes down, I'll just be picking up an extra one off free agency. I'm not going to go backup tight end here.
Yeah, this is kicker for me now. I need a kicker. It's the last kind of thing that I haven't drafted. And as we said, we want to kind of hit that sweet spot for kickers. Not good enough because I do like guys like Evan McPherson, and guys like
Justin Tucker,
even like a kicker like the Kansas City kicker,
Harrison Butker.
Thank you. I just think that there's a lot of extra points there where I kind of like field goals give you 3. Yeah. You need 3 touchdowns over 1 field goal to get the same amount of points. Right. Especially I don't know if some of your leagues do a 50-yard field goal is 5 points.
Yeah.
So some of the field goals really help you out points wise. And another team that's in that sweet spot is Graham Gano of the Giants.
I fucking knew it, baby. Oh, and I love the Seahawks defense being taken right before the end of the draft. That makes my heart warm. Yeah, you would not have seen that last year.
No, I mean now that the draft's done, looking at the draft, I do think that you have one of the better teams. Definitely. I don't mind Team 5 as well with Jamar Chase, as Travis Kelce went early, allowing him to get one of the top 4, in my opinion, guys. Then taking Jonathan Taylor. I don't like the matchup of Chase and Higgins. That'll be interesting to see Team 5. Another team that I like is Team 8, going Saquon and Amon-Ra. Great picks. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Justin
James
Fields.
Conner as well. You know, and Kadarius Tooney down there. Yeah, Team 8 had a pretty wonderful draft as well.
And they drafted Sky Moore at the end, so no matter who the receiver 1 for Kansas City is, they have both of them. Right. So they have options there. Elijah Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster is a receiver 1 for his respective team. Looking at my team, though, I do think I did the best for where I was at. Yeah. I think Tyreek Hill, looking at the guys who went behind him, was the best pick there. Arguably, you could have said Tyreek Hill. You could have said Stephon Diggs. And I honestly would throw Nick Chubb in that category. Yeah. But I was hoping that I might be able to get Chubb in the second round. And I thought at round 1 it might be a reach. But I don't mind Josh Jacobs as a consolation prize. But I think the worst pick in this draft for me was just round 3. I think it was a hard decision between Smith, Najee, Debo, Metcalf. I was hoping maybe Keenan Allen or Ridley would fall to me in the 4th, which is why I took Devontae Smith. Both of them went. But overall, I didn't think I had a bad draft. I think I definitely made up for some of the lack of talent at some of the spots I've had earlier in the draft, later in the draft, getting Deontay Johnson, Michael Pittman, and Dalton Schultz in later rounds in value. Yeah, I know you're praising my team here. Although I am very happy with the way this draft turned out. I think I have probably the strongest running back core out of
Maybe one of the strong. Maybe there's a couple other teams that you can argue have a
I think-
stronger
I think
running back
Team
core.
7 probably has the strongest running back.
Team 7, Team 8 also has a pretty good one. But that big three, what I really love about this is Christian McCaffrey has the backfield basically to himself. Obviously, there's Elijah Mitchell there, but come on, you have C-Mac. You're going to be putting him on the field. Tony Pollard has the backfield to himself. Miles Sanders has the backfield to himself. So 3 guys that I won't have to worry about anyone interrupting with their touches, with their carries out of the backfield. I love that 3-headed monster running back that I got. Love that I was able to get one of those top-end quarterbacks. But my receivers are definitely lacking a little bit. I think Garrett Wilson has a tremendous upside, potential to finish as a top 2, top 3 receiver this year in my eyes. Christian Kirk, more of a safer pick. Going to get you, he's going to get you around 10, 12 a week. I don't think that he's going to have explosive weeks. Same thing with Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think that he's going to be one of those guys that's just consistent. They both are going to be primarily playing the slot position. So both those guys kind of similar. Jordan Addison, maybe a little bit of a riskier pick. I mean, overall, I'm very happy with the way this went, and I think that you, like you said, I think you did the best of what you could do with that pick 9. I think it's a tough one this year, that pick 9.
Yeah, just looking at like the picks here, I think this. I mean, if you go back and watch our last mock draft too, I think you can really just by value and just by averaging what the teams get at their position, I think you can tell what positions are the better draft picks for this season. 8, 9, 10 is, I think, kind of one of the worst spots. I'd rather be 11, 12 in a 12-man, just because you get that 1-2 turn. You can get Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill if they fall, or I wouldn't even mind CeeDee Lamb and then pairing it up with Nick Chubb. So that 7, 8, you kind of don't get back-to-back picks. You don't do that. And I just think the first 7 picks of this draft, you really can't go wrong. So it's really saying, but that pick 4, like I said, is one of my favorite, and you killed it at the pick 4 spot.
Thank you. I think we both killed it for the positions we were in.
Yeah, I think we both kind of were in the top 4 because these are CPU drafters at the end of the day.
This is true.
But yeah, comment what you would have done. What pick you think is the best pick in this year in fantasy? I think it's pick 4. Tucker, where would you want to be this year?
I'd say if you're not in those top 4, I'd rather I'm going 11, 12.
Yeah, I think the middle is kind of no man's land this year. But yeah, comment where you want to be. Comment whose team do you think did better. Is it me? Is it Tucker? Thanks for watching to the end. If you want to win your championships, drop a subscribe button because you're studying. You're down here 30 minutes in the video. You're doing a pretty good job. But as always, cue that outro, baby.
Peace.